This is really great stuff here, showing off his chops, drawing a more realistic kind of style. Today we're going to take a look again at my favorite, might be my favorite of the European artists. It's a toss-up between him and Mobius, of that French, European metal hurlant crew, Kaza. I looked at some of his other stuff in the past. I think actually it was only one other book that I looked at. This is a really interesting one. This might actually be my least favorite of the Kaza books I picked up so far, but this is still a beautiful, beautiful book. And man, that cover, I mean, talk about a cover that will sell some issues or sell some copies of your book. And man, I love what Humanoids is doing. Unfortunately, you have to buy it from France. So you have to buy it from Amazon France. I think Humanoids is somebody had told me that they might be going bankrupt. I'm not sure what the situation. I don't know if that's actually true. But as long as they keep releasing stuff and they're able to keep releasing stuff, that'll be friggin' great. So I don't know about the whole bankruptcy thing, but what I do know is that they're still releasing stuff. They're still doing Metal Hurlant, which is great. I only covered the first issue, but I actually have issue 2 and 3, so I'm gonna show those off at some point. But today is about Kaza, and let's just take a look at this beautiful, beautiful book and this beautiful artwork by Novel. That's what this reminds me of. So, just great sci-fi artwork, and just doing beautiful, beautiful stuff. And this kind of style I'm not really into as much. That kind of simplistic, cartoony like style kind of reminds me of like a Robert Crumb inspiration. I'm not a huge fan of this stuff. I actually am not the biggest Robert Crumb fan. I like Robert Crumb, but I don't love Robert Crumb. I don't love him like I don't love his artwork like I love Mobius. And I certainly don't love it as much as I like Kaza's stuff when he's kind of drawing that beautiful anatomical work and that sci-fi insanity. So you get this very Crumb-like artwork, funny proportions, absurd, cartoony-like work with a lot of hatching, whatever. I think he's doing the coloring on this as well. Yeah, just interesting stuff, but not really my cup of tea. Not what I think of when I think of Kaza, at least from what I've seen. And then we kind of get into his more normal style here. I don't know if that was kind of like a flashback situation or a storytelling method of why he changed this out. I don't know if they're completely different story. I don't know if this is all the same story. It's in French, obviously, so I don't know the story. I'm here for the artwork, but he's doing some really cool stuff with cars and perspective and that cool composition of that, car in the front, stuff in the background or the foreground and in the background. And just, it looks like there's insanity ensuing on these pages. Very interesting choices of kind of making these panels very close together to kind of make it feel very tight or claustrophobic. Just really, really great stuff that he's doing here with panels. This is somebody who's clearly a master at this point. He knows how to make comics probably better than most creators do. And he's just really experimenting at this point and doing some really, really great stuff. And then we go back to I'm assuming these are a bunch of short stories. Then we go back to a very Robert Crumb-like style. And then we have this, which is really, really cool. I love that. And he does some really interesting stuff with like anatomy here, where he's kind of adding these extra bumps and accentuating these bumps. it's just somebody who really, really looks at comic books as a vehicle in which he can just tell any story that he wants and really, really take it over the top. You get these, I mean, look at that beautiful upshot of that face there. Great perspective there. Um, and then you get this simple 2 point perspective here. We go back into this Robert Crumb style underground kind of work. I'm assuming that stuff was big in the European market. Um, yeah, interesting stuff. A lot of really great. I mean, the stuff he's doing here with lettering, just like all over the place. It's very psychedelic. Obviously, when you're looking at these artists, there's a lot of psychedelic elements to it. But man, so cool. Really beautiful stuff. I really, really enjoy this stuff. Especially when he gets away from that Crumb style. He loves doing the woman entering the window. That was in another book that I saw of his. That reminds you a lot of like a Richard Corbin kind of style, with very like very clay like, very, very cool. Again, reminds me of like Richard Corbin in some places here. Did some great stuff with the hatching of these tree people. You know, the idea of drawing a tree person. I hate drawing trees and just being like, I'm just gonna make a person made out of a tree or in a tree. Cool perspective here going on here. 3 point perspective and the panel choices. Very cool. I really dig this book for sure. But it's my, like I said, it's my least favorite of the other books that I have. Um, great work here. Just going back to that style that, like, I like that he changed the styles. Mobius was big for that too. Mobius would change his style all the time. And then we get into this interesting, like, I don't even know what the style is. It's funny because the story dictates the style, and I really, really dig that about European artists. I mean, there's no real house style, I feel like. I feel like it's just the story dictates the style. This is really great stuff here, showing off his chops, drawing a more realistic kind of style. I love the use of color here, the noir feeling to it, with that, with the light, but using green. Very cyberpunk feel to it. Really, really, really great. Man, I love the way he draws like anatomy like this. Great. Beautiful work. And Kaza is like one of those guys that like is really up there and should get way more respect than he does. It's an absolute travesty and a shame that he does not get the love that he deserves. Really interesting panel here. I really love this panel. I don't know what it is about this panel that I love. It's like them in the foreground and the buildings in the background. It's just like very simple, like style choices that he's doing. It's not super complex, and then it's just, I don't know, like in that panel. But then it's beautiful. It really is such a great artist and a master at this point. Doing the Frank Miller guy talking on TV thing. I don't know the year on this. I'm assuming that this is probably, it might be before, I don't know, might be after, who knows. Man, just, I love the use of the black borders, by the way, around the panels. But I mean, the amount of detail that's going into those roots and the parts of the tree, and then you get the swamp thing going on there. Reminds you of like a Wrightson, they wear their like the guys that they. I feel like come on, how do you not think of Bernie Wrightson when you think about that? Like how can you not say that like you weren't inspired by Bernie Wrightson to do something like that? Um and I imagine his work got over there. Reminds me of that like EC stuff with the like the 50s stuff that would, or probably actually before that, like the 30s, 40s, maybe, no, probably 40s, 50s, whatever, where, the books that would get, banned by Wortham. But yeah, man, just really, really great stuff in this book. And for it being my least favorite of the Kaza books I picked up, it's still fucking great. And man, his use of color is insanity. Just insane. Beautiful panels here. Beautiful artwork here. Man, just really a beautiful, beautiful book. And man, Kaza is just a genius. And he's one of those guys that you look at his work and you get inspired instantly by it, by how great it is. And man, I'm a huge fan. And looking at this makes me just want to go draw right now. And that's probably what I'm going to do. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.